Welcome to Keys to the Cloud. This is a new episode for you today. And the subject that we're going to discuss today is a very, very interesting one. So, we're going to talk about AI powered project manager. And I have here with me Keenan Coughlin, which has been a seasonal project manager working with Red X Carmen and other large corporations as well. That it has been doing a great job on project management. And I'm very curious to understand how he's empowering himself using AI. So,
Thanks for
Keenan,
having me,
welcome
Marcelo.
to the show again.
I appreciate it. I think project managers aren't going anywhere. There's a lot of fear out there that AI is coming for people's jobs. I'm going to say I don't think project manager is one of those roles. If I just said that to you, how would you respond to that?
I would be skeptical, right? So I really need more information to actually be able to say yes or no, because I don't know what the future holds. But I'm keen to hear your thoughts, right? I'm always looking to the human side of technology as well.
Right.
So, and that's probably where we're gonna lean towards. I wanna understand more about it. So, but tell me more. Let's think about Keenan. How are you using artificial intelligence today to help to do what you do best?
Perfect. Let's start with the fundamentals of project management. I think AI can do a lot of the PM tasks. However, in modern IT transformation projects, your PM is no longer just your paper pusher and your report generator. Now we're expected to be strategic leaders, bringing stakeholders together, and focusing on the human side of project management. So my goal is to have AI offload those repetitive tasks or the things that don't need complicated decisions to do, and to really allow us to focus on what matters. And that's the human connections of getting projects across the finish line.
All right, that's a great point. But I can't think about human connection without looking to the world that we live in today, where we provide services to clients that are sometimes thousands of miles away from us, right? So how can you get a human connection? You no longer shake hands with your clients as much as you wish
Isn't that funny?
today.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Right.
What do you do? Like, let's talk about the human connection first, and then we jump into what is the augmentation that you want to do and on those tasks with AI.
We're talking project management, and I don't think this area that we're going to be discussing is only relevant to PMs. If you work remotely, there's some rules I think you need to be following here. The first one is your video needs to be on at all times. When we're on calls with clients, we want to make sure that we can see their eyes, we can see their body language. Plenty of times you'll be on a call and you'll be able to see just by looking at those visual cues of how your message is being delivered. Let's start with the basics. You need to have a connection with your clients. And you do that. It all starts with video.
Got it. But what if the clients don't turn on their video? Then,
That's a great
then what? You know, that one-way street? What is it?
I know it sounds awkward. Yes, if your clients aren't turning on their video, you have to live with that one-way street. You can gently prod, but I think what we've seen is if you have your video on, the client almost feels obligated to turn theirs on as well. It is a little bit strange for them just to sit behind a closed door while you're on video. I think it's getting more common. 5 years ago, when this was all new technology, I think we saw a lot of people just pretending like it was a dial-in bridge and not using video. I'm going to see this trend continuing, and I think we can help lead the way. So project managers, your video should be on every single call.
That's right. That's right. I think just video as a subject and sound and how you set it up, it's gonna probably be a podcast episode in
That
itself.
needs its own.
But one thing is for sure. So when you look into turning on your video, so the clients are more inclined to show themselves as well, right? That provides that feedback. When they don't, then you start looking and to find ways to understand based on what they're saying or how they're saying or what they're not saying, and start fishing for those feedbacks from them, right? And maybe inviting them to actually promote more of those feedbacks to you when you get to that point. So, and I did see you doing that a lot as well. But let's say you do turn on video. Everybody turns on video.
Love it.
Then tell me more about the connection to you have the human connection there, so you know how to run and those meetings and converse with clients. Where would you add artificial intelligence into the picture?
Great point. I'm going back a few years now, but back in the day, project managers were required to take meeting minutes, decisions, action logs, maintaining these logs. Where I have seen the biggest change is in transcription. We now have every meeting that we're doing on our projects transcribed and, more importantly, summarized by AI. At the output of every meeting, I no longer need to take my notes and send those back and forth. I'm able to, in one click, have the AI facilitator generate key summaries, action items. And here's where things get interesting. We're going to talk about Microsoft Planner today. Copilot has the ability to assign tasks that it has generated based on your conversation. You can assign those tasks directly from a Teams meeting, and they show up in that person's planner tasks.
That's very good, which gets to tap a little bit into agentic type of artificial intelligence model, right? That's great. Now, this is all based on the transcription of the call, right? Which is based on the voice of people talking to each other. Do you usually record videos as well during those calls?
You know what? That's a great question, and something that I think every project manager will treat differently. We've had some pushback from clients who would prefer not to have their video recorded. However, they're okay with transcriptions. So I think I would say, go ahead, record the video. It might be useful for playback. And maybe in the future, AI will be able to look at those videos and come up with those body language cues that
That's
capture.
Points, yeah.
I think that could be the future. And if you have certain clients that are not comfortable having video recorded, transcriptions giving you all of these automation tasks that we'll be discussing today.
I got it. So let's dissect this a little bit, right? Because I'm very interesting to dive into what a system can actually see and what a human sees it, right? I'm always fascinated about technology in the way that you can actually get to transform the real world into digital and feedback to the real world again, so you can provide something. As a product manager, probably always looking for people's micro expressions.
You got it.
Their hand gestures as well, right? So if
body language,
you got
sure.
it. Yes. What they're doing up here instead of down there as well.
Yeah.
So the different tones and ways that different ways that you show your face. And do you believe that one day we would be able to integrate with Microsoft Teams an agent of some sort that is actually going to be able to tell you about what the person on the other side is feeling about what you're saying?
Marcelo, you're not far off. Let me tell you how we're using it today. This is in-place technology. Microsoft Teams paired with Copilot gives us the abilities to query meetings. So if I'm going to put my CEO hat on, I want to know how a meeting went. Rather than just looking at a transcription or action items, you can ask it, how was the client's feedback on the call? How was their tone? Were they frustrated or upset? And Copilot now, using transcription, not body language, is able to pull out those emotions. And we've given this a few runs where we've asked Copilot to analyze a survey call and ask how the client's feelings were.
You're talking about RedX Pulse, right? So what you guys introduced to make sure that we get feedback from clients?
This is RedX Pulse. This is RedX Pulse and some of the secret sauce behind the scenes.
Got it. So based on what is being transcribed, you were putting feelings or getting Copilots to understand what's
exactly. We've built the agent that has the lens that we're looking for, and it will go out and now summarize the client's feelings, not their words.
Yeah.
And I think this is the game changer. What I want to see as an evolution is how could that apply to video? Could you ask Copilot to analyze the video feed?
Very interesting.
To answer those. I think you're not far off from this technology.
Probably. And I don't believe we had a chance to do any research into what are the plugins that can potentially put into.
And I'm sure they're out there.
I know that when investigators or people are being interviewed as well, you do have cameras that can capture those micro expressions, right, with zoom in and all that. It would be interesting to understand how intrusive that might be seen in the corporate world, right, and how you can actually capture some of that.
We've already had issues with recordings in the past. Some clients have security dictate that they can't be recorded. Understood, that's a security policy. This would probably just take it to the next level if you were also analyzing their body language and facial expressions. I could see that being challenging, and I'm still excited to see it. I think it will become more prevalent in the future.
That's perfect. So the other note into that, and when it comes down to privacy concerns as well, what do you tell clients when you start transcribing? Are you asking for permission, or you're saying that you're going to do it? And what is it? What the approach that you take?
Yeah, that's a great point. Client by client. We'll have some clients that are very open to it and fine with recording. And by default, our stance will be that we are transcribing, not doing video. We will transcribe that audio. What I love about Microsoft Teams, it makes it loud and clear when you join the call. This call is being transcribed. So there is a visual representation of that activity taking place.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's going to be more common. This will be the new accepted way, just like keeping track of chat history in your Teams chat is now a thing. I think that transcriptions will be the default norm moving forward.
So think about it as being from again, from a privacy and adhering to standards, and as a courtesy. Today, you still saying, "Do you mind?" Right? You asking if you can transcribe, and I'm with you that clients are more willing to say, "Sure, you can transcribe anything." Less so on when you go and start recording videos, right?
I think so.
So that's another way to think about it. Because I did see in some of my calls that I had, when soon they start recording it, people turn off their cameras. They still talk, but they don't want to be seen or recorded.
And then we lose that human connection. That's the whole purpose that we're trying to do with the video. So we want to make sure that we're not putting roadblocks up to people.
Interesting. I have a great point here. So you don't want to lose the connection. So therefore, you want to emphasize that you want to have video on it, put the human aspect of it, while let the machine understand what's being said and recorded, so you can take notes and actions and everything else. Right? That might be the new norm right there. So, okay, interesting. So in calls with actually Microsoft and with one of our partners, and I do see that. They have been recording or transcribing all the calls that we have with them, and they do ask for permission for it. And I do see that internally at Red X Hammer, we are doing the same. So every single call that we do, transcribe it so we can use in the future for searching information about that.
Oh, and it makes so much sense for a project manager. You can now go back and find those decisions that might have just been verbally mentioned but not formally accepted. It has come in handy on many occasions to be able to go back and find those hard discussions that you might have had.
Yes.
Make sure that you're capturing the decisions accurately. I'll tell you, even as a project manager, we're human beings, we're biased. At the end of your meeting, you may have your written summary might not be exactly how the call happened. You might tweak the wording or soften a blow or make the action items just set in a very different way. And I do feel like Copilot takes out the project manager's emotions from those activities and makes it a little bit more clear cut.
You stick with the facts, right? So, which is from a reporting perspective, that's what the stakeholders and executives are going to be looking for, anyways.
That's right? What they expect.
Tell me the facts. Yeah. Move feelings. Tell me exactly what's happening, so I can help you better
in a repeatable way. Copilot does it the same way every time.
Got it. So you're using Copilot, using transcriptions in order to go and take actions and provide that. Get those actions turned into something, right? So where do you go from there? So after meeting is done, right? So you collect all notes that you needed, send information about meeting minutes and everything else. What do you do next?
Great. Now we get to talk about the fun stuff. We can have tasks assigned directly to your resources. I'm going to change the subject to resource and time tracking. I know this is a hard one.
It is.
All of our clients are suffering with this, right?
Everybody knows it's a big pain point to actually get people to record their time. Right?
Got it. Can I ask you for a CEO's summary? What are some of the challenges that you've seen across multiple organizations? You've led many professional services teams.
Yes. So there is this personas involved in IT, right? That's, as you know, obviously, you always get these the consultants, the developers, the data analysts, the data scientists, and you name it, project managers, and so on and so forth. Each one of those roles have a specific types of individuals that you can actually profile because they're good at what they do, right? you're going to have better success on some people recording their times based on those different profiles than others, right? For instance, I do see that developers, they seem to do a great job on recording their time.
Good example.
It is a great way to provide management feedback as to what is it that is, how long it actually took to write a code so they can predict what's going to come up next. Right?
Sure. On one specific activity.
You got it. You got it. Now take the extreme of a consultant that is there sometimes to advise more so than actually execute a task and so on and so forth. That person is less likely to log their time by the hour or log which kind of subject and what has been discussed or not, right? Because a lot of times it takes time to actually record the time.
That's right.
And that might not be seen as important enough, right? Because there are other bigger fish to fry, right? So, and to us, from managing a team, it's very hard for us to track down as to how much work has been performed, depending which kind of person you're dealing with.
Yep.
And what is coming up next that I can actually understand from an analysis perspective what's going to take to perform the work, right? We have a great sense because we did a lot of projects over and over again.
Sure.
But ideally, we would have some sort of a tracking in a different way, right? In different manner, right? And I'm keen to understand how artificial intelligence can actually help us with that. I do know there are tons of tools out there that has been we used in the past that keep an eye on screens that you touch and everything else and log the time, right? But what are you being seeing it?
Right. Hit it on the head. We have resources that are not assigned to a single project that need to pivot back and forth between different clients and sometimes on demand. These are activities that come up out of nowhere. You might have thought you're spending your afternoon working on this one document and you're pulled into a separate conversation or escalation. Very difficult.
Task switching. Right?
Task switching, right. And the inefficiencies that go with that, right? Where I think we've seen the problem is human beings, some human beings don't enjoy that process. And it's certainly inefficient in terms of time. I'd rather be fixing your problem than filling out reports on where I spent my time. So what we need to do is eliminate that bottleneck from the resource itself. How can we free them up so they no longer need to write reports, but they can be doing the work that they enjoy and honestly that our clients are paying them to do? This is where I think AI can take the next evolution. So let's go back to the PM activity. We have a meeting, we make some decisions, we assign some tasks. We check off the little box that creates the activity in Marcelo's planner tasks.
Okay.
We set a due date. It's all discussed in the call, it's all decided. Now, this is where I think task management could potentially lead to some resource allocation. If AI already knows what you're working on and when it's due, it can start to build a bit of a resource utilization map. This is here today. Planner has this.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it's perfect. So Microsoft, if you're listening, we got some work to do. And it is light years ahead of where we were just a couple of years ago. So let's say Planner knows everyone's tasks. It can then overlay everyone's resourcing over a project. Mm-hmm. It can then overlay multiple projects into a program. And now at one dashboard level, an executive can see where are we busy, which weeks are going to be overkill, what type of resources are we low on. And I do feel like that would be the ultimate solution. Marcelo, we're not quite there. We're in between. We can do very decent task management now. And really, if AI can just take that to the next level, I think we've got something very interesting.
It would be great, right? So, and if I think about it, you would have an option to potentially get Copilots to and converse with Copilot and ask, how busy is my team? How busy is that person? What is the best resource based on availability that I could allocate to a specific task?
Wow. You're now digesting information the way that you want to hear it. Rather than your PM giving you a dashboard, you could, in regular expression, ask it questions. How busy are my Exchange architects in the month of June?
Interesting.
And have it deliver back. Marcelo, I've never even thought about that angle. Now you're going to be able to digest the data that we're creating in a way that's more meaningful to you.
That's correct,
brilliant.
Right? Because in depending on which role you're playing, right? We all play multiple hats. At times you have questions that you really don't wish to go to multiple reports and dashboards to go and collect that information. You would rather ask someone to provide that information to you. Saves you a lot of time. That someone is no longer potentially a person. It's going to be your Copilot agents that you developed using Copilot Studio, and that connects to all the systems that you have data to be provided. But
including your meetings. Now imagine if you would ask a question about a project and it would go and gather details on the client's feedback, the heat level. Are there escalations? Is the client happy with the progress? You wouldn't have to ask the client. You could potentially ask your Copilot agent, and it would say on the last status call, client A was very thrilled with the progress and had concerns with this one area. I think this could be the future of how executives interact with project data.
It is. So the interesting portion there, Keenan, is that information, if it's captured, hence the fact that every single meeting should be transcribed, right? You can develop today an agent using Copilot Studio that taps into the meetings that occurred in order for you to go and collect information about that meeting, right? I believe that the next steps would be to tie the meeting to a specific project. So instead of chasing down the meetings that occurred in the past, you're going to ask your agent, tell me about the project X, right? And Project X should be tied into all those meetings that happen in regards to Project X. And then that'll be awesome.
And this comes with good data. And I think Copilot's going to help facilitate that by making sure that we're capturing these without needing a project manager to do this pretty repetitive and low value add activities. Filling out reports or creating these status dashboards. These are things that should be automatically generated.
You got it. So I know that what we have implemented recently at RedX is the fact that the RAG reports, like the red, amber, green reports, it needs to reach out to clients and partners that manages clients of ours as well, right? And that's a great indicator for us to provide to clients the status of specific projects, right? We're not there yet on the fact that a RAG can be automated, but we're probably very close to get to that point. We did develop an agent using Copilot Studio that reads the RAGs, and you'll actually be able to go and say, based on the project X, in the last status, reading that dashboard, tell me where, from an executive perspective, I can help the project with, if anything. Right?
PMs, we love that. That's fantastic. No longer do you need to run or chase or request help. Just imagine the proactivity this could bring, where people are notified. And you've used the use case of an executive. What if it also recommended you a resource to say, this project is stuck because of this issue? Here's a resource that has capacity right now. I've already notified them. I've already put calendar meetings in. Yes. We are not far away from having a very different world when it comes to resourcing.
You got it. Now, here's something for PMs, right? You're talking to them, right? People that are listening to this or watching that are project managers today. If there's something that you need as an argument and a proper motive for you to get the Copilot license, that's one of them, right? So it's not to put together your pretty Word documents and chat with a Copilot, but actually use Copilot to help you with that project management activity, right?
That's well said. Copilot or any AI product is going to do those low-level things that you just discussed. And if you're not doing it today, you should be. That's your document creation. It's expanding task lists to make sure that you're not missing any activities. It's creating your status reports or project charters. Great use for AI. Think bigger. What are the other options? What are the other ways that you can push the boundaries? And I like your idea. PMs should be one of those roles that gets a Copilot license.
It makes sense. One interesting thing about the project manager profile, right? Again, so Microsoft did this study and they noticed, that was over a year ago, maybe even more. They noticed that people that were leveraging Copilot the most were people that knew how to delegate. And that is a project manager right there, right? So people that use this artificial intelligence and talk to it is able to delegate to the machine certain tasks or not. They are the perfect fit to get Copilot licenses to be assigned to, so they can actually work with the machine to provide all this great feedback. Right?
PMs, you heard it here. Quote the man,
Got it.
Marcelo Tamaki.
You should got to look into that. All right, so that's from a project management perspective. I'm curious to understand how your resources are using artificial intelligence to actually deliver things for you.
That's great. Let's use some real world examples. So we're using Planner to track these tasks now. What we're hearing from the resources is that they enjoy having their tasks managed in a central location, and they are getting notified when things aren't being done. It's like Copilot has taken over that low level PM task of chasing and poking people and making sure they're on task.
See.
They're getting a daily digest of those activities that they need to work on. And where I think this is powerful is when you have your tasks in one central location, you can ask Copilot, what do I need to work on today? And it can look into your deliverables, what the due dates are.
Wait. I need to dive into that because it's extremely important, right? Especially from the way that IT personnel specifically
Sure.
is looking at the day-to-day tasks. They have dozens, sometimes hundreds of little items that need to be tackled
That's right.
throughout a day, right? And you're saying that we could potentially use Copilot to say, just sitting down now in front of my computer. Tell me what should I work first.
See, now that's ideal. And we're doing it today when you have all of your tasks in one place. So let's throw out the caveat. This is going to change everything. This is how we're going to be doing task assignment in the future. But it does require your resources to have their tasks put into that single place so it understands what it needs to work on. But Marcelo, your statement is absolutely true. You can sit down, and we have a resource who is invested fully in this infrastructure and says, what do I need to work on today? And it will lay out the tasks and the deliverables in bite-sized chunks. It's not going to spit you out the 100 tasks that you need to do.
Yep.
It's going to look into the prioritization and the due dates and feed you just what you need to work on.
That's perfect. So, we can go further, right? So just from a deeper technical perspective,
Yep.
from a resource task, if a resource receives a task that requires, I don't know, let's call it a graph API connection via scripting, you can actually use now Copilot to help you with that as well and accelerate the output of that person, right?
Yeah, great example. So those resources need to use AI as part of their job to deliver things faster, to work on those things. I think that's true. There's one other element that has blown my mind, even just in the last week. And this is the ability for Copilot to estimate work effort for activities. I'll give an example.
Interesting.
So if you have 20 tasks, it used to be a very mundane task for a PM to sit with an architect and say, how many hours do you think it will take to configure this Exchange server? And you make up a number.
Yes.
Every number that we've put into the system for tasks, Copilot has access to. So we were doing a project and we made a comment, how many hours do you think this task will be? Not only did it give us an estimate, it said, oh, you've done this last year for this other client, and it's a little bit less complex. We think it will be less than this actual number that you used in
Yes.
the past. It's not making stuff up. These are not hallucinations. It's now
Interesting.
using your business data to make better decisions on resourcing.
That's amazing. Even if that task has been performed by somebody else, you can actually argue with the results.
Sure.
And then coming to an agreement as to how long and should take for a resource that has that specific skills to deliver it, right? And maybe that's the time where those arguments are extremely valuable, where you bring the human being into the picture and say, should we think about for that specific task,
Yes.
pull somebody in to deliver it faster?
Yes.
Right.
Maybe
Or
it's skill set or it's seniority or it's understanding the environment. Having Copilot help you predict that those are going to be challenges, bring people in early.
You got
To
it.
change. And I just need to reinforce how cool this one experience was. We did not ask Copilot to look at our historical data to make this reference. We asked it for a sizing. It provided that and then went the extra mile to dig in and find us these numbers, right? So I think what we're seeing is that prompt engineering still very important.
Yes.
And as things continue to improve, you're being proactively fed data that you didn't ask for that it thinks is going to be helpful. So
Got it.
just on the side, I think that has been one of the more interesting elements of Copilot that we've seen.
It makes total sense. Okay, so let's talk about the cost associated of using
Sure.
such technology, right?
Sure.
and the cost savings that you have, right? So, and I have been having these discussions with others as well. It's nobody has any doubt that artificial intelligence, right? So with the likes of Copilot and having Copilot taking actions for you with agentic models and all that stuff, is going to save time, right? It's very hard for you to quantify how much time is being saved.
Sure.
And because you cannot quantify how much time is going to be saved, you are less likely to go and invest on it as well, right? So we know that it's going to be better, right? But how much is actually better? So we look into trendings and KPIs and record tracking. So my advice is for us to start thinking about, if you have that battle today and not understanding what to say and how you would justify the need for that investment, start tracking and capturing what you have today. How long is it taking to perform certain tasks? If they are recurring tasks, perfect. If they are not, at least you're going to have a good understanding of many tasks similar to that occurs before. And then you can put a pilot together to say, let's execute the same tasks again, but now provide machine help to these humans to perform those tasks and see how we can compare and stack them up, right? So that's a good way for you to justify the need for, or not, to have a Copilot and the likes to help humans to perform their tasks.
I think that is the call to action for the PMs listening in. What can you look to automate? Build that list. Look at your weekly activities, your reports, your meeting minutes, all the summaries you have.
Wait, you were saying that the PMs need to track their time as well?
Yes.
There you go.
You caught me. Have a great understanding of what tasks bog you down, what things that you think you can automate, and put that pilot out there. So embrace AI. It's not going to replace a project manager's job, but I think we need to look at how we can AI power our project managers to make them more efficient and let them focus on the good things, on the human interactions, stakeholder management, and making sure that we're all connected.
Which, by the way, they lose sight of that because sometimes they're doing busy work, right? So they're writing something that Copilot would do that for them, but now it frees up the human to actually do what humans do best. Right?
Well said, Marcelo.
Of that. Well, we covered a lot of items on this topic over here. Is there anything else that you think that we should call to action other than what you just said about project managers and
PMs? Get busy, build your stories, and get involved. Try the new technology. We wouldn't have learned these things unless we put it into place. So it's very easy to listen to a podcast and say, hey, that sounds cool. Go try it. Jump into Planner. Planner's included on most of your Microsoft licenses. We're not talking about expensive things. Build some working knowledge of the tools so that you can have these intelligent discussions with your boss to light up more Copilot licenses.
That's very good, and you can try them out, right? So Microsoft provides trials on Copilot and even Planner, the newer and more features rich version as well. So I think we should definitely try that out. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I would love to discuss the same topic 6 months, 12 months from now. The world is changing so fast, and I think that we're going to see the impacts of AI on project management very quickly.
I got it. Yeah, me too. So I'd love to see that again. I'm really keen to do that research about people looking to micro expressions on Teams cameras video now.
That's our call to action.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, thank you,
Awesome.
Keenan.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Great to have you. This was another episode on the Keys to the Cloud. So I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next one. And we're back again. This is Copilot Corner, and we're going to talk to you about something that we've done that ties into artificial intelligence. That sounds very cool. So let me pass that along to Keenan Coughlin again here, and tell us what you've done last week.
I'm excited about this one. This is fun. Let's set the stage. So we have a process called RedX Pulse. It's the process that we use for gathering client feedback. Think of it like a survey. After a project, we'll get details on how the client feels the project went. And we have various touch points throughout the organization. All very cool. We're capturing lots of good data through those sessions. Here's what we've added in using AI that I think is really cool. Most of the time when you meet with people, they say the words, but there's also some sentiment that is not said. You have to read between the lines. I think as humans that we do a really good job of being able to capture that sentiment. The challenge, though, is whoever's receiving that puts their bias on. So I might say that the client thought that the project went really well because that's what my brain heard. And the challenge here is when we're collecting survey information, we want the honest truth. We want the unfiltered view of how the client feels.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where AI doing sentiment analysis on our survey calls has blown my mind. Load the transcript of the call.
Yes.
And we've built an agent that analyzes the tone and looks for statements left unsaid. It captures those little subtleties in the words that the client has used.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, the first time we used it, our minds were blown. We asked the AI how the call went and to analyze the sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
The exact line was, the client was cautiously optimistic.
Interesting.
And then broke down all of the supporting evidence why it felt that way.
So wait, I need to understand this a little bit better. Right? And I did see the survey was awesome, right? So, but instead of us asking a client to fill up a form and give us a star rating on the project that we delivered, which we will have a rating as well, you're actually capturing everything else around to get to that point, right?
That's right. We can ask the questions and we're going to get a score and we're going to get a really good dialogue.
Yes.
And what wasn't said in this project that the sentiment analysis was able to find was that the client was very happy with the project, but wasn't sure if this was going to meet the business needs in a year from now. So although the project went absolutely perfectly, it was delivered how the client wanted it, there was still some feeling that there was a wait and see feeling. And that was very cool for AI to be able to pull that out. And it definitely feeds back into our loop. We need to connect with that client in a year from now and make sure that what they asked for and what we delivered was actually meeting their business requirements internally.
That's very interesting. So if we don't use that, and I'll talk about the method that you use to actually get the survey rolling, right? The standard method, here and there, you get an email saying, tell us how we did.
Sure.
Right? So you actually have the star rating and 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever that is. You also have a field that you're actually going to type what you think and how that went. As humans, what we type at times is not how we think, right? And that translation right there, that communication right there already changed. So if I'm thinking about something and I need to think about something and actually type it, whatever I'm going to type, it's different than what I thought. But when I read it, either I believe that it is transmitting that knowledge that I had on my mind,
Sure.
when in fact it isn't. Just don't know because we're biased to what we wrote and then think about that way. If you leave the machine to simply listen to what is being said and verbate it, right, then you can have a better analysis to it. So, right, is that how you see it as well?
That is. And then go one level deeper. What was left unsaid? Were there ums, ahs? Were there pauses? Were there feelings that Copilot feels were expressed? So beyond just what they said, what didn't they say? And can you read between the lines? That was the big takeaway that we had with this.
That's very interesting. So, which makes us think that new surveys sent to people out there, you shouldn't consider just the words that they type, but how and what they would say. Privacy aside, then I wouldn't answer a survey and record my voice into it, but I would love to see my voice potentially be translated into words. So those are the only things that are going to go back to the survey to be able to capture that feeling. I like that. Love it.
Very cool.
Good. No, thank you very much. I think it was a great insight and food for thought.
Thanks, Marcel.